I'd like to know what legal actions our party is pursuing as it relates to dislodging the damaged goods known as Dennis Strong. As far as I'm concerned, there is ample prima facie in law for an injunction to be sought and eventually is full removal. That's it.
Next Prime
Opposition, Mr. Mark Jefferson Golden and Mrs. Golden.
Minister, rubbish truck me I need it now. Tina me na clean, Macaroni na clean, Christian Road na clean, St. Joseph Road na clean. Carl Blake and the councillor, near bag up the truck then, they go take up Carl rubbish all the while. And also Miss Pinnock and Sam and Mr. Mullins, they must sabotage the TMP zone. Next Prime Minister coming, while you step on it quickly as possible. Time come, use next Prime Minister marching up Duke Street.
Well, thank you for that.
Hot water channel, straight to the max. Bring the thing to the people then. Original generous speed. Same way. Man, big up hot water channel, no ice cream. Yeah man, big up yourself.
Good to see you, sir. I just want to make a comment. I am delighted at the colors that we've chosen for the People's National Party. I've been receiving videos almost every single morning, and you look so bright and beautiful, ready to take over. And I think that's very important. You have to be attractive because people, especially Jamaican people, they love nice things. They love to look pretty and look beautiful, and we do. I think we're the better looking party. In every way. And secondly, I want to commend this particular exercise because for me, for the first time, I'm hearing what the People's National Party will be doing when we get into power. And the last thing I'm going to say, did you notice that they had no scripts? Brilliant. And I think everybody who presented did so very well. Time comes. Thank you very much.
Check. Okay, thank you very much. Well, following your beautiful commendations, I would have loved to know your name. So I'm asking you kindly, once you raise your hand to ask the question, please tell us your name and where you're from. Former teacher, I'd like to know your name.
Actually, I'm the retired senior vice principal and acting principal of Excelsior High School, or alma mater. And my name is I'm one of the second Alison Pearce in Jamaica, because there's another Alison Pearce who, when she was seconded by Mr. Omar Davis from Ernst & Young, they used my file photo. Yes, and she's slim and fair, and I'm plump and dark, so you know.
Thank you very much, Ms. Alison Pearce. We have a question on the left. Please identify yourself and ask your question and who is this being directed to.
John Paul, I'm here. And I remember that the Operation Pride has given over 70,000 people access to land. Comrade Golden, the incoming Prime Minister, I am pleased that you have seen it fit to give back the Jamaicans who didn't get any land from the slave owners land. And that initiative with the Porsche thing, it has It's very intriguing. I really love it. And the others who love it also. But the question I want to ask, we have so much crown lands in the country. It is the intention of the People's National Party to free up those crown lands to Jamaicans.
No, so we'll take them 2 at a time or 3 at a time, and then we can answer in bulk.
Good afternoon. The name is Al July. Current leader, Mr. Connect, Miss Hicklin, and Mr. Harton for great presentation. And I would love to put your hands together. I am convinced that the voice of the people is greater than the voice of the government or the actions of the government. And because of that, I am proud to be a member of the People's National Party. Having listened to the current leader spoken policies and his intent to change the culture in this country, a culture of corruption by this government, a culture of cronyism by this government, a culture where we now witness in 2025 where our candidate has been run out of a business place because of what she wore and who she stood for. This is the platform and the ground that has been rolled for a dictatorship, third term for the JLP government. And we say no to that. And current leader, I must say this to you directly. Since I am in politics, going around the country, I must tell you this, that you have brought the People's National Party with one of the greatest unity of young people coming together. We call them the millennial. I have not seen this kind of millennial activity for the longest while in politics, only when Obama was running in the United States. And I want you to give the current leader another hand clap for me, please. Current leader, there are so many low-hanging fruits. I'm making a comment, I'm going to ask a question, please. There are so many low-hanging fruits that the spokespersons in the party can speak on. But I must say this, I am not hearing the voices of many of them as I am seeing you and I am hearing you, and I think I need to hear from them more. Because that is what the people are saying on the street. Stand with the current leader and speak up, because there are a lot of issues in this country to speak on that are negatively affecting the constituency that some of us represent, and we are not hearing those voices. Last but not the least, current leader, what are the plans, programs and policy do you plan to take in regard to national security? I would love to hear if there's anything different from this which this government is doing, and what are your plans, current leader?
All right, thank you so much. We ask that you keep the questions very compact so that we can allow maximum participation. So question noted, we'll answer, and the final question before we take the answers from our panel.
I want to use myself to make a particular example of this land tenure issues that we speak about. I am from Eastern St. Andrew, Monacama. I lived there 61 years now. I was taken to Monacama when I was 2 years old, so I am there now 61 years. And as you know, the Constitution provides something for me. Even though I try to help some of the people that live at Monacama, how they check the ears that they live on that. because some of them don't know that they can check their family ears with their ears. I'm not a lawyer, but I do a lot of research myself. So I know, so I want to find out, how will my party, the PNP, help to enhance my position now for me and facilitate the process for me to become a land holder in my documents. I'm living here 61 years now, and I think that will be quite fair. Thank you.
Could you please just remind us of your name?
My name is John Minor, Comrade John Minor from Modakama.
All right, thank you. The comrade is...
But I'll take that one. I should start by saying that Lothan Cousins MP is speaking in the sectoral debate next week, Tuesday, on the issue of land. And he made a presentation yesterday to the Shadow Cabinet, and some of what he will be speaking on is directly relevant to your question, Comrade Polak. I don't want to steal his thunder by speaking too much detail to it, but suffice to say that we believe that as an asset of the people, which is what Crown land is, although it shouldn't really be called Crown land, people's land, we believe that it should be used to empower Jamaica and empower Jamaica's economic development. So, some of the lands that will be used to recapitalize the National Housing Trust and provide affordable housing will be Crown lands, but lands that are not suitable for agriculture, because we believe that agricultural lands should be preserved as much as possible for food security and for agriculture. And we are looking at some of the legal issues around the way in which Crown lands are categorized coming out of colonial days in terms of where persons have occupied lands for generations, how they can become owners. And that directly relates to John Minor's question as well. I don't want to be specific yet because, as I said, the cousins will be speaking to this next week, Tuesday, but we're looking at modernizing some of the rules around this. And indeed, the Operation Pride approach and Porsche approach, which is a modern iteration of that, which will have a robust governance framework attached to it to ensure transparency and accountability for how funds are used and all of that. We'll be looking at communities like Mona Common. I'm very familiar with it. We used to champion them place as I used regular, yeah, for various reasons, but I did. Positive reasons. You know, I know the community quite well, and it is crying out for some of the solutions that you're speaking to. So persons who have long-standing tenure can become owners. And there needs to be some organization in the community as well, right opposite the hospital, so that it can become a community that works in harmony with the hospital, the university community, right there, Papine, and so on. So that is my response to both you and Comrade Paul. What was that?
The second question from, I think I know I have to say Comrade July, is that the issue of not being able to hear from the spokespersons on party positions.
National security.
And also national security. It was two.
No, well, on the issue of hearing from spokespersons, we are trying different methodologies to get our message out. So this is one of 4 forums which exposes spokespersons to the media, social media, and the audience. We also have rallies. We've been going through our divisional conferences, and those are designed to expose spokespersons, and they're encouraged to talk on their subject matter as well. One of the challenges we have is, you know, the media doesn't always give us the coverage that we would think we ought to get. It's the nature of the media that we're, you know, the media environment in which we're living. So we have to just push every possible opportunity to get our voices out. But the spokespersons are encouraged to speak out. We issue releases every day, many releases every day on issues of importance on the day, so that our positions are heard. And you know, we just need to continue. And as we expand our communications capacity in the party, which is something we've been working on and continue to work on, you'll find that our message gets out further and more broadly than it has been. So that is what I have to say in relation. In relation to national security, our philosophy on it is a balanced approach. So we believe that law enforcement needs to be given the tools that they must have to be effective, and they must be supported in the work that they do. And we are pleased that we have seen, as a result of a switching strategy which we were largely responsible for forcing on the government, we've seen that the police force is now focusing on intelligence-led policing and actual targeting persons who produce violence in the society, and building cases that can bring people to court and hold them accountable. And we are also in favor of greater accountability in the force by encouraging body-worn cameras to be worn, because we have seen where there's a strong feeling out there that it's not always, the use of force is not always proportionate to the risk, and by wearing body-worn cameras, so they can substantiate, if needs be, that the circumstances justified what they did, and citizens can be protected from any tendency to overuse force. It's very important, and we encourage that. But we support the police and the great work they're doing, and we want to see it continue, because we want the rates of violent crime in the country to go down. Apart from that, there is a whole cause of crime, you know, the crime prevention side of it, which is where this government has completely abandoned any strategy for dealing with that. When we were last in government, well, first of all, under Dr. Peter Phillips, when he was Minister of National Security, the Peace Management Initiative was developed, which was a community-based mechanism for intervening in conflicts early and resolving them by persons who are trained and have respect in the community, ensuring that what is a relatively minor thing, but where feelings are generated, can become a cause of a series of events that is a spiraling series of reprisals, which is one of the biggest sources of murder in the country. So we believe that the Peace Management Initiative, or something of that type, needs to be revived, and there's a role for it. We also started Unite for Change when Comrade Peter Bunty was Minister of National Security, and Patricia Duncan-Sutherland was very involved at that time in that program. It was discontinued, and the PMI has been defunded. What we now have is the government effectively outsourcing to the private sector any kind of major social intervention to try and reduce crimes through prevention. And unfortunately, Project STAR, as wonderful as it is, it doesn't have the funding to be a national program. We need to get behind that type of program, make it a national program, so that we're dealing with some of the issues: anger management, training opportunities, mentoring of people, gender-based violence and interventions around that, and affording women opportunities to remove themselves from spaces where they're at risk to other places where they can be safe. There's a whole culture and ecosystem of activities that need to be focused on at the community level to make our people less aggressive, demonstrate more love and understanding in how we deal with each other, and more respect in how we manage conflict. It's a cultural shift that's required, and that's why I've stressed the need for ethics in how we govern ourselves, and I'm seeing ethics in the broadest sense. And I don't think that the political movement can necessarily lead this. I think it has to be led by the other persons who are not seen as partisan political actors. But it's very important that it is supported by the government, because it's all going to be part of our strategy to make Jamaica safe and secure again.
Alright, so if you do have a follow-up question, let's just allow some other persons to ask questions first, and we can come back to you once we have exhausted. 1 second. There is a question here. You can go ahead.
Good night, everyone. I'm Antoinette Hamilton, the president of the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Alliance. Now, question to Mr. Rowling. So the government would have allocated $2 billion to, well, first of all, let me commend you and your team for your commitment to community engagement. And we from the business community thought it was necessary to be here to ask a few questions.
Thank you for coming.
Okay. Right, so the government would have allocated $2 billion to DBJ. Our understanding is that this is solely for loans. But our MSMEs, which are, well, they're startups, they're micro, they're small, most of them don't have the family support, and it's difficult to access loans. If you were to form the government, would you
please allow Ms. Hamilton
you were to form the government, would you be revisiting the allocation to consider incorporating grant funding for MSMEs so that those that have visions of becoming entrepreneurs can start, as opposed to being hindered right now because they don't have the necessary requirements to access a loan? Secondly, this morning it was mentioned by Senator Morgan, I think, that the government is looking at another solidarity program. Now, my calculation of what was said is about $1 billion. So clearly there is money in the coffers that can support our give back. Now, we are yet to see what the give back is for small businesses. And so, again, if you form government, will you be prioritizing giving back to small businesses as well? Thank you.
Thank you. We have a question on, okay, you can go ahead. Please identify yourself and then ask your question.
Sorry about that. A very good evening to you, comrades, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Comrade Errol D. Hastings, Chairman of the Egalitarian Group, Avenue Division. Question is for the Prime Minister Designate, Madam Jefferson Golden. Okay, I'd like to know what legal actions our party is pursuing as it relates to dislodging the damaged goods known as Dennis Chong. As far as I'm concerned, there is ample prima facie in law for an injunction to be sought and eventually is full removal. That's it.
The third question for this section, you can go ahead.
Pleasant afternoon, comrades. I'm Marlo Kingan from West Rural St. Andrew. An educator, a sport person. Let me declare that. The question will go to two of our comrades on the platform, Comrade Hicklin and also Comrade Harton. You spoke about the importance of cultural development and improving culture. You mentioned the music, the arts, but sport is a very important part of our culture. And we are seeing a trend where if we are not careful, we will destroy that importance. Sport. As a matter of fact, if you should Google who is the most popular person, Jamaican alive, you will see that it is Usain Bolt. The question is, what will the government, or the next government, which is the PNP, I'm very confident about that, do to improve the infrastructures and the resources around sport. I attended the GC Foster College that was given to the Michael Manley-led government by the Cubans in the late 70s, and it was opened in 1980. and a pool, a diving pool and a full-size Olympic pool was installed on that facility. And to date, it has never been used for what it was supposed to use for. We see various government come in and we hear various plans. And I'm asking if there is not a plan that is already in place, if one will be in to help that facility. So Dr. Arton, there's a facility in the constituency which you will be the MP for. The Catchinall Stadium, about the last 6 years, it has not been able to use for any track and field activity. St. Western Champs, even Milo Western Relay have to be removed and relocated to GC Foster in St. Catherine. Western Champs was held in St. Catherine. Therefore, the schools who do not have that strength of money, they are greatly affected, and I'm asking, what will happen if we will have some improvement to our sporting facilities across the country so that even our lovely track and field that we're so successful in do not end up like cricket and football.
So we'll take the fourth and final question before we go to our answers.
Good night, comrade. Next Prime Minister. Rubbish truck me, I need it now. Tina Minina clean. Macaulay na clean. Crescent Road na clean. St. Joseph Road na clean. Carl Blake, the councillor, near bag up the truck them, they go take up Carl rubbish all the while. And also, Miss Pinnock and Sam and Mr. Mullins, they must sabotage the TMP zone. Next Prime Minister coming, while you step on it quickly as possible. Time come, use next Prime Minister marching up Duke Street.
Well, thank you for that. If we, yeah.
Hot water channel, straight to the max. Bring the thing to the people then. Original generous speak. Same way. Man, big up hot water channel, enough ice cream. Yeah man, big up yourself.